There was no Islam proclaimed in Turkey pre-Islam. There was no Islam proclaimed in Iran pre-Islam, in Iraq pre-Islam, in Algeria pre-Islam, in the Western world, in Italy pre-Islam. No such. This is just junk. Absolutely junk. The Quran also claims that God destroyed many nations when they did not receive Islam in the past, pre-Islam. We know this is junk also. There is no such God who interacted and destroyed nations because people did not receive Islam. All of these are fundamental claims about Islam in relation to history. We know this is just junk. Most importantly, for example, even at the origin of Islam, it claims that the Mecca should have been an Islamic place of worship. The Meccans disagreed. They said in Surah 2, Ayah 114, they said no Islamic Allah here. We don't do Islamic Allah here. That's why they prevented in the 7th century when Muslims claimed, the early Muslims, Muhammad and his entourage claimed, hey look, this building should belong to them, to us. They said no. That's why they were prevented entry into that building. So everything about Islam, about the Quran, not Islam, about the Quran is wrong. Science, history, logic. So, basic logical mistakes. The Quran claims just because this is good literary work, which is historically not true, but even if you assume it is true for a moment, just because a good is a good literary work, does it mean it has to be from God?
Like as I told you, I don't have enough knowledge for that, but I think...
But this particular question, you don't need knowledge of Quran. I'm asking you, just because, for example, in Turkey, Turkish, just because, in Turkish, you have literature,
Of course.
Just because the literature is good literature, does it mean it is from God?
I think so. It's not also like you are saying that there are some mistakes in it.
No, I'm not talking about mistakes. Good quality literature. Like good, using good eloquent language.
Yeah.
Just because you speak good eloquent language, does it mean it is from God?
So it's a hard question, but
it's a very easy question.
It's not.
It's a very easy question.
But in my English level, it's not so easy to explain.
I'll give you a simple example. In English, there are literatures such as Shakespeare's works.
Yeah, of course.
Marvelous English literature.
But not technological.
Yeah, I mean, just because something is good, excellent English literature, it doesn't mean it is from God.
Okay,
it's simple logical question.
I think it's okay, but inside the meanings and the things that you said, the history and science, there are also true ones, and I think all of them are true.
Which of them? I gave you plenty of mistakes.
Embryo, you said which process is wrong in the embryo?
According to the Quran, Quran's embryology, first of all, it gives details about embryology in a few different places, and it contradicts each other, first of all. Second of all, in one of the places it actually says, according to Quranic embryology, the bones come first and then flesh. This is bonkers. It's just junk.
If I know it's 100%, I will tell you something, but I don't know it. So
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So you don't know, but I'm telling you. But the point is, I can show you if you like for now. The point is, Quran's embryology is just junk. It's just junk.
I need to make a research about it.
Sure.
So,
you need to.
I need to check some research, like the sources. So if I convince about them, it will be fine. But in my research level, I'm not so high of it. So I think it's correct. But I need to make a research about it.
No. Yeah, when you don't know, you can neither say it is right nor wrong.
Yeah, it's
Can I show you what it says?
Yeah.
And let's go through it. Yeah. So Surah 23, ayats 12 to 14. So if we go here, sorry. Surah 23.
You are waiting for Jesus. You are waiting for Jesus.
12, do you see that? Ayat 12 to 14. Surah 23. And certainly we did create man from an extract of clay.
So everybody knows 13 is the first one that is easily known.
Sure. Then we placed him as a sperm drop in a firm lodging. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot. So it claims sperm, when it fertilizes, becomes a blood clot. Is that true?
I have no idea about this.
Okay, I can show you human embryology. Blood, when blood comes out, if I have a cut, if blood comes out, it solidifies.
It's dry, yeah.
Dries, yeah. So that's a clot. So that's human embryology, development.
Yes.
Fertilized egg, 2 cell. When it fertilizes, it forms what is called a zygote.
Yeah.
And then it divides 1 cell,
Yeah.
divides into 2 cells. 2 cells divide into 4, and then 8, and so on. And then you have fetus like that
Yeah.
in 5 weeks.
Okay.
And then, do you see a stage where it's a blood clot? Is there a blood clot phase?
As an explanation, no.
No, there is no blood clot. anyone who thinks sperm and ovum come together to form a blood clot doesn't have a clue. He doesn't have a clue about embryology. But this could very well be from a person who clearly doesn't understand science, who is maybe looking at things that he observes externally. And of course, when it comes to reproductive organs,
Yeah.
we have, women have, the menstruation, and time when blood comes out. So clearly he is thinking, oh, maybe this has something to do with blood and so on. So people can make mistakes when they don't know science. That's the kind of mistake we're dealing with here. So what does it say? Sperm in a firm lodging, and it says sperm drop into a clinging clot, blood clot.
Okay.
Wrong. And then it goes on. And we made a clot into a lump, meaning lump of flesh. And we made the lump bones, and we covered the bones with flesh. So according to this, it says first bones are formed, according to the Quran.
Yeah.
First bones are formed, and then flesh, like the flesh is formed around the bones. It's almost like, you think, if I am making you like a statue,
Yeah.
and of course what is internal to you are your bones, structural. So maybe I make your bones first and then try to, give flesh to you on top. So that's what I would do if I'm doing you like that. But that's not how embryos are formed. So this is a basic mistake. Except, clearly, even you in the 21st century, you haven't studied to check if it is true. So we can imagine how in the 7th century Arabia, people did not take the trouble to check. And they thought, hey, look, this is marvelous science. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
So that's a mistake in science. It is not just this. Like I said earlier.
As you said, I cannot say it's right, and I can say it's wrong. So I need to check it by myself and make a research about it.
Please, and
So
this is where I showed you both embryonic development.
You're right. Like if I need to make a comment on this section, I need to study on the biology. So it's not so easy because it says some details.
But
Maybe
please study.
In that part, there's something about the blood.
Please do study.
Yeah, of course.
What I'm showing you here is popular science. When I say
of
popular
course.
science, what I
Without
mean is
learning, we will-
you study
yeah.
you study this in schooling
Yeah, of
here,
course, but it's
secondary
not in
school
the
and so on.
details, yeah.
It's not easy, and you might have forgotten. You might have studied a long time ago. Now you've forgotten.
Previously.
But when you go home,
Yeah.
please study this in detail. I'm showing you, and I'm telling you this is wrong.
Of course, we will check.
Based on my study. So please study. So what did I say? Science mistakes.
Yeah.
Basic mistakes. Is there a setting place of sun in the world anywhere? If I need to go to the setting place of the sun, where do I go in the world?
The setting place? What do you mean?
Of the sun.
The sun, yeah.
Where does the sun set? Is there a particular place where the sun sets? If I showed you Google Maps,
Yeah.
will you be able to tell me where the sun sets?
It's according to Earth's motion.
Yeah, according to motion. But if I showed you, so this is of course the UK map of UK.
Yeah.
But if I ask you, please, can you help me understand where does the sun set? Is there a particular place you can point out to?
It's in the specific position. It will be west and east.
Yeah, it's just directions. There's no place. But Surah 18 actually describes how Dhul-Qarnain went one way and he arrived at this setting place of the sun. Near that there was a village and he had an interaction there. And then he left that place, went the other way and arrived at the setting place of rising place of the sun, near which apparently there is a village. So according to the Quran, these are two specific villages by which there are rising and setting places of sun.
Yeah.
This is just junk. People
Maybe
who,
it was about like hidden somethings about the literature.
You see-
It's sometimes it's not. It's saying something, but it's not actually saying.
you see the problem with this? The problem with this is across the Islamic world, you think the Quran is from God because of science. So in other words, you are depending on the scientific claims. But the scientific claims suddenly, now we have to say, well, they're not scientific, they are maybe poetry. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Except in this case, it is meant to be literal because it is describing events. Dulkarnain goes to a place, he sees it set in a setting place near which there was a village, a specific village.
Yeah.
And then he goes the other way and goes to the rising place near which there was a particular village. So this is a historical event according to the Quran.
Yeah.
You see, so these are specific literal places.
Yeah.
So the Quran makes fundamental mistakes. And so I'd like to comment to you that the Quran could not be from God. Could not be from God. Whoever produced the Quran is not just not God, but is also someone who doesn't even know basic science,
Okay, so if-
basic history.
Yeah, of course. But if you are living in the 6th century, how you can just randomly how can I say explain the process of the embryo? It's correct or not? Like you are sitting in the 6th century and just sitting in the the garden, and you will say, let's write something about the embryo process, or just let's say
I know.
the universe is expanding, and it's correct about as a real science.
No.
It's
The
also
Quran
expanding,
doesn't.
yeah.
No. Let's stick to embryology. Please make note.
Yeah, no, I don't know about the
You know what the
details
Quran
about
says? The Quran speaks about sperm.
Yeah.
The Quran speaks about, it says fluid. It doesn't know about ovum.
Yeah.
It says fluid. These are things that human beings could see.
Yeah, of
You know,
course,
when
I
it comes
understand,
to physical intimacy, people can see some of these details.
Yeah.
And so you don't need a 6th century person with some intelligent brain to talk about this. Any human being would have observed some basic details. Blood somehow related to blood somehow, and then the fact that we have bones, the fact that we have flesh. That doesn't take any much intelligence, except the fact that he makes tremendous mistakes tell us he is not even capable of a simple conversation, simple, scientific claim. But this is a fellow who doesn't understand basic science. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
So the Quran could not be from God. Talk about history. The Quran's history, claims of history, is just bonkers. It is wrong. Junk. Did Turkey have an Islamic messenger pre-Islam in Turkish language?
No, we didn't have it.
No. The Quran claims across the world, all people in their native tongues received an Islamic messenger. It's junk.
Yeah, we have actually, but not on the Ottoman Empire. In the history, Islamic
Pre-Islam.
history, yeah.
Pre-Islam.
Pre-Islam.
Pre-Islam. The Quran's claim is
Yeah.
all nations across the world in their mother tongues received an Islamic messenger.
What does it
and
say?
The Quran claims across the world, every nation has its appointed time, and at its
It
appointed
says
time,
every nation has their own prophet. Like
every
something like
nation, exactly.
that. I don't know where this says.
Oh,
that.
this is the
It's not-
fundamental tenet in Islam.
No, in my country, it's not actually.
Yeah, no, it's there in the Quran. I can show you where it is. Surah Al-An'am. Have you read Surah Al-An'am? Surah Al-An'am speaks about this. By the way, this is a book I have written on Islam, so let me one second.
What is the topic? Huh? What is the topic? The topic is the mistakes in the Quran. It's not this word of God, it says.
And what is the word of God? The Quran is not the word of God. What is?
He says our own things that he's saying, that everything is like junk. Like you say, embryo process is not correct.
Everything is junk.
The
What?
science, theology, science is not correct, also he says.
Science is not correct.
Yeah, it's not Quran is not saying the science. It's mistakes he says.
But science do not agree in the miraculous birth of Jesus.
Yeah, he
Does that-
says.
yeah, but science don't agree with that. Most science will tell you Jesus does not have a miraculous birth. Science will not
Adam,
agree in the resurrection
Please
of
listen
Jesus.
to me. This guy,
Yeah, I think so
this
too.
guy,
Exactly. So what happened to
This guy-
science then? Most
guy-
scientists are atheists.
Yeah,
So science doesn't prove that the Quran been wrong.
yeah. I think so. Saying
The Quran proves science wrong.
Yes,
Adam,
you're
please
exactly
listen.
right.
Please listen. The gentleman standing next to you is utterly clueless. He comes here every week. He has been here for many years. Yet he can't make sense. I'll demonstrate that to you.
Well, I think every idea is
One
valuable.
second,
Yeah,
one second,
so-
one second, one second. I'll clarify because he thinks he has made an intelligent point, but he hasn't. I'll clarify what that is. He said, when I presented details about embryology and said the Quran's embryology is junk, I gave you contra evidence that contradicts. Now you said you'll go home and check.
Guys, it
No,
needs to be checked. So you must be studying on the biology. to say
absolutely,
something.
absolutely. You need to. That is why I didn't force that upon you.
of
I said
course.
I've shown you. When you go home, you can check.
Yeah.
But what did the gentleman?
Science doesn't
What
judge
did
the Quran.
what did the gentleman say?
Science doesn't judge the Bible.
What did the gentleman say?
Science don't.
What did the gentleman say?
The revelation
What did the
judges
gentleman say?
science.
What did the gentleman say? The gentleman, if science contradicts what some book is claiming, if science contradicts, clearly that book is wrong.
No, science is wrong. Science contradict
I'm
the
sp-
miraculous
speaking-
birth of Jesus.
Adam, please.
Science contradict the resurrection.
Adam, I'm
Yeah.
speaking.
of Jesus.
Please, could I?
So then science
Adam,
right it.
Adam, I'm speaking to you.
Science don't believe in it.
Please, Adam, please, I'm speaking to you. Please focus on me.
But it's a group
Here
conversation.
is where
It's a group
I'm speaking to
conversation.
you. Here is where, please pay attention right now. There is nothing in science that contradicts a virgin birth of Jesus. Nothing. What in science? Is there a law that says virgin birth God can't achieve? Is there any such
It's
law?
not scientific.
Scientific law?
It's not scientific. It's not scientific.
It's like a miracle of the God.
Exactly.
Exactly.
God
it's
can
not
perform.
scientific. Which
God-
scientist agrees with it?
There is a difference between saying God can perform miracles.
Of course, yeah.
God
And
can
also
perform.
via the prophets.
Sure,
they
sure.
can.
God can perform miracles. We both agree.
Yeah.
Both of us agree. I agree. God can perform miracles. But God can't get basic scientific details wrong.
God don't deal with
Do you
science.
do you hear what I'm saying?
God don't
Now,
deal with
let's
human
put it this way.
science.
You have two hands. Yeah. You have two hands.
Yeah.
Now, it is true that
Which
God.
Which science?
Now,
to
please-
be specific. Which
Please,
science are we
please.
talking about?
It is true that God can suddenly give you, there's nothing preventing, if He wanted to give you one more hand, for example. God can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can do it, but he.
once. He can do it, yeah?
Yeah.
But God can give you an additional hand right now, which would be clearly a miracle.
Yeah.
But God can't come here and say you only have one hand. You can't do that.
Yeah, but that analogy
Because
is flawed.
hear what I'm
Because
saying?
Nowhere in history
God
God
cannot-
gave a man free hands.
once.
So his analogy is flawed.
Adam,
It's a
I'm
flawed
focusing
analogy.
on you, please focus on
Yeah,
me.
but it's flawed.
This gentleman,
It's false.
this
The
gentleman,
analogy is false.
utterly clueless.
God never
has
gave
been
anybody
here
three
for
hands.
many-
Are you a Hindu?
So to you,
Are you a Hindu?
very simply,
So three hands
God
for Hinduism.
performing-
You cannot impose Hinduism on a Muslim.
Adam, if you're going to be distracted, I'll move away.
Then you can
I'll
go.
move away. So
You can go if you want.
Would you like to have a
We're having
conversation?
a
Sure,
You
sure.
can go.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay.
you can go.
When you go home, please find out.
If God want to give you three
So
hands,
this is the problem we have. Basic science, terrible mistakes. Basic science.
God never give anybody free hands. That Hinduism not.
God can perform miracles, but God can't make mistakes.